So, hey, here we are for another podcast episode. It's been a little while since we've recorded, so we might be a bit rusty, but
My voice has gone creaky. It's been so long.
quick some tea. But we're here and we're going to talk about something very practical today. We're going to talk about the practicalities of home birth because there's usually lots of questions um about this. Things about pools, using pools. Obviously, we answer lots of those questions lots of the time because we do hire out pools as well. And then other things that come up during a home birth. Where do we begin?
The beginning. But where does the beginning
Oh
start?
no, it depends. What are we talking about? The beginning of labor and what that is. We're talking about practicalities here, so we can't get too into
Okay.
other stuff.
Is it ever too early or too late to decide to give birth at home? Because I think
Ooh.
the idea that there are so many practicalities is what is an obstacle for women.
Yeah,
Like, it's too early on. I don't know if I can. Or it's too late now. I haven't. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Is
I
that
do.
practicality?
I think it's important.
But it's not a practicality.
I think we should talk about it briefly.
Okay.
I think the answer is no. It's not ever too early or too late. Practically, it's never too early or too late. But the more time you have to plan a home birth, I think the better for
What if the
getting
longer
in the
you
right.
have means that the longer you have to be talked out of it?
Don't talk to people.
Don't talk to anyone.
Yeah. Don't go to the places where they're going to try and talk you out of it. That's what I would say on that.
Even if it's your mum or your partner.
Yeah, especially. But the longer you have, the longer they have to sort their shit out as well, which is not your job. So if you have a partner who's not sure about home birth, not comfortable, then if you're talking about it right from the beginning, then your partner's got time to do the work and get on board and support you. Same with your mum if you wanted to. And if not, then they don't have to be there. There's the short answer. Is it ever too late? Nah. Because I mean, ultimately, you don't need anything except for yourself. So, yeah, anyone can just decide on the day, I'm going to just stay at home because it feels more comfortable.
If you have a home,
Yes, that is actually quite essential for that.
you've got a safe place that feels like yours. It feels like home, and you've got a baby in your belly. Those are the two main considerations for having a home birth.
Yes.
I know that sounded a bit flippant, but what I was just trying to allude to the fact that you said you don't really need any stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Because if you were on the way to have an elective section and then, I don't know, the baby came fast, or you went, actually, I changed my mind, it's okay that you don't have stuff.
Yeah.
Because you have the two key ingredients.
A home and a baby. Yeah. The rest is just extra stuff.
Yes. What are the essentials in your experience
Well,
or opinion?
you just said the essentials.
Okay, so a woman's decided, I want to give birth at home. What do I need? That's one of the biggest questions. So what are the essentials, and then what are the nice to haves?
Yeah. We should have done a test and asked ChatGPT because I bet that's what women do. What do I need before I give birth at home? And then we could go through the list.
It's on my phone.
Right, you get the list up and I will start. I think that pools can be great. They're not super easy to get at the last minute. So might take a bit of planning and preparing to get a pool in place. But that is something that lots of women find useful, find to be a comfort during labour. But again, I mean, it's not essential. Most houses have a shower. Lots of houses have a bath if you're lucky, and both of those things can be used in labour to make you more comfortable. So Ellie has just put the question into ChatGPT and it is spitting out a lot of things. So if you do that, don't panic to start with because that is quite panicking. Jeez.
Wow, there's still a lot. Practical stuff. What do I need to prepare? A pool, towels, a backup plan? How do I know when to call my midwife? Where does the baby sleep after? Who cleans everything up? Can I still have pain relief at home?
Okay, well, shall we go through those?
What even is a home birth? Do you just stay at home and push the baby out?
Yes, essentially, that's what happens.
This isn't the rabbit hole we were planning to go down.
No. So the practical stuff, go back to those questions.
There. What do I need to prepare? A pool, towels, a backup plan? Oh, so what if you want to give birth in water, but you don't have a birth pool?
Yes, so whilst you were typing away to the robot, I was just talking about that.
That robot is my best friend.
I know. And it will remain nameless. Talking about how you can use water in other ways. So showers, a bath if you have one. Both of those things can be used in place of a pool, and you'll still get relief from that, from the use of water. The benefits of a pool is obviously that there's more space, and so you can move around a bit more, and it's softer.
And it's deep.
Yeah.
If you want to get your bath a bit deeper, you can put blue tack or duct tape over the overflow and get it a little bit higher than it otherwise would be.
Have you ever tried that? With the
Yeah.
blue tack specifically?
No.
I just can't imagine that working.
I did it with a flannel and my foot.
Okay, yeah.
It reduced the amount of movement I could have since I had to have my foot.
Yes.
But I'm quite tall.
You just stay still.
You wouldn't be tall enough, I think, maybe.
No, my feet do reach the end of my bath, but
not in a way when to keep you buoyant.
Yeah, and if it was more full, then I would struggle.
That doesn't sound very relaxing.
No.
Or conducive to birth.
I feel like duct tape would work though.
Yeah, I do.
But obviously there's a risk of flood in your bathroom, so don't do that.
And taking the enamel off your bath, which I've done.
Yes.
But not with duct tape, it just fell off.
So if you have a deep bath already, that's great.
That's great.
If your bath is not really that deep, there are ways to try and make the water deeper that come with some risks of damage to your bathroom. And so the alternative is a pool, which is bigger and softer and deeper, but also requires some kind of preparation.
I know we don't want to get too much into pool hire, but is having a pool a pain in the ass? I think that is a top question.
It is a good question, and I think the answer might be yes, depending on who you've got in your space or how many people you've got in your space, because it's quite a big job. So if you only have like one birth partner and you're not inviting anyone else into your space, that is going to be them pretty busy setting up and controlling the water temperature and stuff for a lot of the time. I think if you've got more people, if you've got a doula or someone else on hand, it's not that bad. And it shouldn't be a faff for the woman.
That's something that makes me really sad. When a woman says, I'd love to give birth in water, but it's just like setting it up and emptying it and keeping it. And I'm just thinking,
that's not your job.
But if you're thinking right now that is your job, what else is your job?
Yeah.
Like, how are you going to cope in your postpartum if you're so used to everything being down to you?
That's just there's a sign there that you need more support.
Like in your entire life, not just in filling the pool. If that's your first thought, how am I going to do this? Then you have a dire lack of support in your pregnancy and your life.
Yes. In terms of the faff, I think what's been the biggest faff with birth pools, in my experience, supporting women being at births, is either a tap connector that doesn't work and having to fill the pool with pans and pots, or there's too much cold in the water, and then trying to heat it up again are the biggest obstacles that I've come across with birth pools.
My experience reflects yours in that regard.
Are there any other obstacles with pools?
I think the things that women think are going to be the faff aren't, or she's been so supported that the faff doesn't touch her.
Yeah, that's how it should be. Like, if you want a pool, get one, and then figure out who is going to take charge of that and deal with that, because if you want it, then you should have it.
I just realised the fan was covering the sound of the dog bark.
I think that will be blocked out.
So how many towels do you need?
You will use as many towels as you have in your house. So if you have lots and lots, then you'll probably use them all and then have to wash them all. If you have less, you'll use less and have to wash less. I would say having some is good. But most people have towels, right? If you have a house, you probably have towels. And
Can you use your best towels, or should you source cheap towels?
that is up to you. But you can obviously wash the towels. And if the towels get blood on them, if you wash them on cold with some salt, it should get the blood out before you wash it on a normal temperature. Towels are salvageable and you deserve special towels. This is a special day, so you don't want cheap, scratchy towels.
What towels used for at home birth?
Drying yourself. So if you're in and out of the water, whether that's the shower or a pool or a bath or whatever, drying you off so you don't get cold afterwards. Maybe sitting on if you're leaking waters or bleeding a little bit. Sometimes they get put on the floor to catch drips or splashes
or babies.
or, or babies. Sometimes sometimes there's spillages from the pool, like or from the tap where the tap connector is connected, and then towels get used for that. And that I think that's how all the towels will get used because there's lots of different ways that they get used. But if you have less, then you just make do with what you've got.
I think the worst use of a towel at home birth is when the baby's born and she's on her mum, and then someone uses a wet towel to keep the baby warm.
Yeah, because they're not in the water so much. So as soon as the towel is wet and the water and it's out of the water, it starts to get cold. So that's not keeping anyone warm. So that's not a good idea. When you're out of the water,
a dry towel.
You could use a dry towel for your baby and for yourself, and that could be the same one big towel. Yeah.
I've never seen towels be so used that they have to be thrown away. They're all salvageable.
Yeah.
So give you permission to use your best ones.
Do it and enjoy it.
So in a similar vein, who cleans everything up?
Not you. Well, you maybe, but not the listener. Not the woman who's just given birth. So whoever else is there, partners, mums, doulas, some midwives, maybe. I wouldn't expect it or rely on it necessarily.
They will want to throw away your towels.
Oh,
they
yeah,
will not run them under the tap
yellow bag
or let them soak in salt. They will just put them in a biohazard bag and take them away and incinerate them.
Yeah. Yeah, anyone but the woman, really. And that's worth thinking about if you've only got one birth partner, for example, because you might want other things at the same time after you've just given birth. So, although the cleanup doesn't have to happen immediately. Yeah.
Question that should have been before that question: is it messy?
Sometimes. I don't think it's ever as messy as people think it's going to be, because what we're used to seeing is birth on TV or whatever, and there's always blood. There's always lots of blood when it comes to the dramatization of birth. And if all you've seen is hospital birth, there is also more blood in hospital. But in our experience, home births, there's not as much blood, and yeah, I don't think it's ever really been that messy. Like sometimes there's some blood on the carpet, which again with the salt and the cold water has mostly been lifted.
Even when it doesn't, it's a nice little memento, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's something that people ask quite a lot, and they ask about like tarp or like covering things up.
Yeah.
And it might be like if you've got white sofas, you might want to cover them if you want to sit on them at some point.
But if you've got white sofas, why are you having a baby? If you're having a baby, why have you got white sofas?
She says, knowing that I have a white sofa. One of my sofas is dark blue, the other one's white.
Yeah. To either of them.
Yeah.
I mean, what is the mess that is possible? When we talk about mess, are we actually just talking about blood and waters?
Blood, waters, mucus.
I don't think we generally worry about where's. Put a tarp down. I've got some mucus.
Quick. No. I think that's it. Maybe being sick, but I mean, women just know that they're going to be sick and they don't do it on the sofa usually.
No, we've all got that one bowl
Exactly, that we then use again for cooking.
that talk about.
Not us,
No,
obviously.
not us. We've got dedicated sick bowls that are not integrated with the baking section.
I think that's it, really. Maybe meconium. That is pretty messy.
I don't know if anybody really worries about that.
Oh, maybe they should.
Yeah, I don't think anyone really thinks about that enough. Oh, I've got this special blanket for the baby when it's born. So this is the one you want to be covered in tar that you'll
never gonna come out.
You'll never wash out. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe that's where the scruffy towels come in.
Yeah, receive your baby in a scruffy towel. It's all the meconium's done, and then get some really nice pictures in your special blanket.
Yeah, that is one that is a difficult one to clean, I would say.
But that's going to happen in hospital.
Oh yeah, that's not home birth specific. No, except it might be their towels. Yeah, that's all. Yeah. What else? I reckon baby oil would get it off like skin and stuff. But
I mean, we're still not covered in meconium from either being born or being a birth.
Yeah, so it will come off eventually, but fabric's a bit more difficult.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's it on mess.
Yeah, we're equipped to handle mess. We've all had periods in our houses. It's all gone somewhere that we're not intended, and we've cleaned it up.
Yeah, and we're not like constantly prepared for that.
Yeah, it just happens.
Like, you don't just live with a tarp on your sofa just in case. I don't think. Maybe I'm just speaking for myself there.
No, I can join you in that. But when you're at home, you have the things around you that you need to be comfortable. You already do. You're already more comfortable because you're at home, but then you already have the stuff. Like if the shit hits the fan, you have the stuff, or you know where to get the stuff. There's nobody you have to ask permission for or find it difficult to get hold of. There's no obstacles to getting that. You send somebody to the shop if need be.
Yeah.
You do it next day on Amazon. Like if you don't have the stuff, but you already do have the stuff for living. And birth is basically a combination of a lot of bodily functions, all of which you are accustomed to meeting at home safely, quickly, easily, without any stress.
Yeah.
And that's why somebody else's house, even though it's a home, is still not your home. Because when we're talking about home birth, we're talking about the freedom that comes from being at home, the relief that comes from shutting the door, the things that you only do in your own house and would feel uncomfortable doing at somebody else's house. You can't replicate that, even if it's your best friend, even if it's a home from home.
Yeah, and those things are really important to be able to do freely. Yeah, what else is there?
I think you should say something about the basic needs.
Basic needs? Are they practical?
Yeah.
Well, one of them is definitely practical, is being warm enough. So the basic needs of giving birth are to feel safe, warm, undisturbed, and unobserved. And being warm is definitely a practical one. And it obviously relies on you being able to control the temperature in your house, or wherever you're living, which is less possible if it's not in your house. So if you are in a birth centre or on a ward, you've got basically no chance of being able to control that temperature. At home, you do it on a daily basis. You know what will cool your house down. You'll know what will heat you up quickly. You know what's comfortable for you.
You can have that crazy mix of hot birth pool, cold flannel on the back of your neck.
Yeah.
Because you've got everything you need to be able to do that, and no judgment of the temperature might arbitrarily be.
Yeah, you've got the things. So I suppose anyone in your space should also know how to control the temperature and how you like it. That would be useful and practical. Feeling safe. You mentioned like shutting the door. Like when you get home and you like lock the door, or before you go to sleep, that's quite a good example. You lock the doors, you check that they're locked, whatever. Maybe shut the windows or open the windows or whatever it is that you do. But there'll be things that you do to make yourself feel safe. And if you're giving birth at home, those things are the same. You don't need to worry about strangers walking in or um, anything like that. So feeling safe can be a practical thing. It's definitely an emotional thing as well. But on the practical side of things, yeah, knowing that it's your house, you get to decide who's there, who you invite, who you let in, who you tell to go away. And lots of women feel even more safe in the bathroom, for example. So you have access to that when you're at home, and it's your bathroom. So it's not the same as being somewhere else.
Can I still have pain relief at home?
Being at home is pain relief because those basic needs are being met, or they can be met more easily at home. Being undisturbed and unobserved means that you can move freely and respond to your body in whatever way feels good without fear of judgment, without any pressure to perform in any certain way or give birth in a certain amount of time or keep things going. So all of those things, when you remove them, leads to you listening to your body, responding to it every step of the way. And in doing that, it means that your body can, I hate the word progress. That's not what I'm trying to say. The process of birth can unfold in its own time. And when it does that, your body releases endorphins and they match the sensations. So, in meeting those basic needs, you are essentially making use of your body's natural pain relief. But then there's other things like the pool, for example, using water can make you feel more relaxed, more comfortable, easier to move around. That can also make the sensations more comfortable. What else?
Well, it's time for us to go, so I'm going to ask you some quick fire questions.
Oh no.
Are you ready?
I might not have the answers. It's time for us to go.
I know, but quick. What do I need to buy or borrow for a home birth?
Nothing. Need. You can if you want.
What kind of lighting and music should I prepare, if any?
Anything that feels good for you. You don't need fairy lights. You don't need a diffuser. Like what makes you feel comfortable and safe normally. Do that.
Because that's who you are. You
Yeah.
will still be you while you have a baby. I think that's really important to remember.
Yeah, and it doesn't need to look a certain way. Yeah.
How do I set up the space if I live in a small flat?
You live there, so it's already set up. It might be that you don't have enough space for a birth pool, or you have space for a smaller birth pool. That might be a practicality that comes up with a smaller space, but you will still have access to other sources of water, like a shower.
Should I pack a hospital bag just in case?
No,
When do I call the midwife?
don't.
Can I still have a home birth if I go into labour at night? I think that might be a midwifery question. But
Right.
sometimes they don't come out at night or on weekends.
Okay, so the question should be, can I still have a midwife if I go into labour at night? And the answer should be yes, because it would be ridiculous for a home birth service to not operate at night. However, we have heard that and it does happen. I would say don't rely on having a midwife there. Plan to not have one. Ask yourself what you would want them there for in the first place. And if the answer is, oh yeah, I don't actually want them for anything, then don't worry about it. You don't need to call them. You don't need to invite them. And if you go into labour at night, which is pretty likely, then you just give birth. Just
Make it sound so simple.
you just enjoy labour and make yourself comfortable and have a baby.
Will the midwives bring all the equipment? What do they actually bring?
They bring a lot of things that they don't need, and it will clutter up your house.
That you don't need.
You don't need. It will make them feel more safe, but it will not make you feel safe, and it will not make you safe. Yeah, they bring a lot of things, practical things, but also they bring a lot of fear and frantic energy. So lots to consider.
Ego.
And ego.
Can I use a TENS machine during a home birth?
Sure,
No.
if you want to, but
No.
not in the pool.
No.
Yes, TENS machines and water don't mix, so it's one or the other at a time.
They really want to.
They don't. Yeah, so you can still use both, but just not at the same time. Yeah, TENS machines are an interesting one. I think we should talk about that more at some point.
What positions work best when you don't have a hospital bed?
Every single one of them is better than a hospital bed. You have a bed for one, wherever you sleep is in your house. So you have that, but also there is no best position. Whatever feels good for you is the best position. And that's going to change like moment to moment, probably. And the less self-conscious you feel about that, the better. So if you feel like if you would feel uncomfortable getting into a weird position with the people you're planning on inviting to your birth, then reconsider who you're inviting because you're going to want to move and get into whatever position feels right. And if you can't do that freely, then that's a barrier to birth going smoothly.
That's a mic drop moment. So I kind of want to leave it, but then what happens to the placenta?
Oh, God.
Do I have to deal with it? This is just a question from me to you.
What happens? It depends what you mean by deal with it.
That's all it says.
The placenta will be born at some point. I was going to say after your baby, but this is a whole discussion that we've just had
This
off
is
air.
for a different podcast.
Yeah, we'll talk about that another time. But your placenta will be born at some point, and it will be attached to your baby. And then at some point when you're ready, you can, if you want to, cut the cord. You can use a cord tie if you want to, or a clip, or whatever, or not. This is definitely a whole other video. And then there's lots of things you can do with your placenta. But if you don't want to deal with it, whatever that means, someone else can. Have a bowl or something to catch it. And then once it's not attached to your baby anymore, it can be someone else's thing to deal with, or you can wait until you're ready to have a look at it or plant it or do prints with it or whatever. If you want it encapsulating, then there's more instructions around putting it in the fridge and stuff. Essentially, it is a piece of meat, so it will need refrigerating at some point if you're not dealing with it immediately.
And this is unusual, but just to say, you can just throw it in the bin. It's nothing special. Just like you could buy a steak and then throw it in the bin.
Oh yeah, there's no rules.
There's no rules. You can just throw your placenta in the bin.
Yeah.
But if you're going to do that, give it to us so we can practice encapsulating. We'll definitely run out of time.
Definitely, because I'm going to have to pee before we leave.
Oh no. What if you do have your baby at home?
That's such a big question.
I know, but I mean, if you're thinking about the practicalities, I can't have my baby there because then I'll have to.
Yeah, okay. So if you give birth at home and you don't invite a midwife, the only things that you have to do, and I say have to loosely, are to notify the Child Health Information Service of the birth of your baby, and then register with the registrar. The notifying has to happen within 72 hours, I think. And it is just an email, so you don't need to go anywhere, you don't need to leave the house. If you want information about that, please drop us an email because we have lots of information about it and we can send it to you. So it's not a big deal. It's made out to be a big deal and it's made to sound really complicated. It's just sending an email within 72 hours. The registering is it 42 days or something?
Yeah.
It's much longer. So that's where you do actually have to go somewhere. You have to go to the registrar office with your baby to get a birth certificate. Everyone has to do that. It's not a whether you give birth at home or not thing. If you give birth in hospital, you still have to do that bit yourself. So that's no different. It's just the notifying that's different if you don't have a midwife present. You could call a midwife after you give birth, after you've given birth to your baby and your placenta. And they might do that paperwork for you, so you don't have to do it. But it is ultimately just an email, so it's not a big deal if you don't want to invite someone into that precious space after you've had your baby.
And finally,
oh my god, one more.
Do I need vitamin K or do I need newborn checks?
Oof. You don't need to do anything. Yeah, that's the answer. There's lots of information about these things, and you can weigh it all up yourselves. But there is nothing that you need to do. You're not under any obligation to seek medical attention for your baby. You you will know if your baby's okay or not. You'll be looking at them all the time. And yeah, the health
Babies are born
service.
with such low vitamins levels of vitamin K.
All of them. It's so weird.
Stupid babies.
All of them. That should be a sign. If something occurs in all of us, well, the vast majority of us, then it's the norm, not the problem. That's a big topic.
But the answer is no.
The answer is yeah, you can just chill at home, stay in bed, feed your baby, be naked, enjoy it. You don't need to invite anyone in. You don't need to let anyone in if anyone comes unannounced, or announced. And yeah, and you don't need to deal with the birth pool. Get someone else to do it.
Wise words. The end?
The end, I think. Yeah. Cool. Well, it was fun chatting practical
fun.
stuff.
It was. Let's do it again sometime.
Okay. Bye, everyone.
Bye.